Another gorgeous day. I have to be outside. I've been telling you all since the end of January 30th, 2020, that our governments have been hijacked. And it seems that more people are catching on. And I'm really happy to hear that. It's a hard pill to swallow because this only happens to other countries. It doesn't happen to us. And of course, the mainstream media has all but ignored the whole event, adding to their complicity in the matter, or just stupidity. Shame on them. In any case, we now have a de facto government operating within ours. And it doesn't matter what country you are in the world. Every single country is affected. Every United Nations member state. When you know who called the global emergency, that was the segue in. And in nations like Canada, they already had their people raring to go. The new government officials of a new global authority that we have not been advised. In Canada, Theresa Tam took the lead. And of course now, she is leading the country. Trudeau, he's in the House, right? Yeah. He comes out and makes his address as the puppet or the figurehead, but he is nothing more than that at this particular juncture. The same with our premiers. So, for example, Scott Moe, no, he's not in control. In fact, each press conference he's had, he's been with Saqib Shahbab, our chief medical officer. You'll find that in every province. In fact, in Alberta, Dina Hinshaw has taken the reins from Jason Kenney. It goes down the line. These are the front people for a reason. The ones that were there before, the premiers, even our prime minister, they've been deposed. Now, interestingly enough, I keep talking about the rollout of the measures because the transfer and the power transfer actually happened when each province, territory, state, nation declared a state of emergency. So in BC and Saskatchewan, it was March 18th. In Ontario, it was March 17th, as well as Alberta. In Manitoba, it was March 20th. And that's when the reins were given over. For example, in the United States, Trump gave over his power on March 13th to FEMA and Homeland Security, wrapped in language that few deducted. In any case, the ones that you thought were running the show and are still portraying that they're running the show, they're not in control. Not anymore. We have a whole new landscape. And again, it's a hard pill to swallow because this is the shit that happens in other countries, not ours, not in civilized society or our democratic nations. But when these states of emergencies were put in, our democratic rights and freedoms were suspended. And we're in exile. Maybe Trudeau's in exile. Something to think about, right? Maybe that's why he wouldn't do the test. Maybe he had an attack of conscience. Crazy. In any case, today, good news. Good and bad. It's good to know the information that in fact, I'm absolutely correct. Because Saskatchewan announced their get out of jail plan, or they're calling it the Reopen Saskatchewan Plan. And it's a stage by stage, 5 stages, in fact. And we get to start May 4th. Now, this is important for every other state and nation because this is a rollout. And this is what I call the beginning of the crumbs. Because throughout all of these phases, we don't get our freedom back. It's not on the table or even a consideration until the last phase. And it remains a consideration. Yes, you got that correct. So phase 1, they're going to reopen medical services. But there's no articulation on what. So, for example, the chiropractor might be open, but you might not be able to go for a further treatment. The system is still essentially controlled and, to me, more emergency based or resumption if people who had previous arrangements. At that time, May 4th, they're going to resume the low risk outdoor activities, including fishing and boating. Of course, you're going to have to maintain the physical distance, and they're even going to let you go golfing, but you have to have 2 carts for 2 people instead of 1. You pay for it too. On May 19th, after the long weekend, they're going to allow, one other really important point is that they're also going to open our parks and campgrounds overnight. But though they will only be half capacity because physical distancing, of course, will be a priority. Yes. If you thought you were going to have some lake romance this year, it's not happening. There's no romance happening. In fact, it's all canceled. May 19th, more crumbs. They're going to choose businesses that can exist from this point forward. It'll be retail and select businesses under strict guidelines yet again. Now, phase 3 is to be announced because there's no date for that. In fact, there's no date for any of the other phases. That's when they'll open gyms and restaurants. Of course, restaurants will be at half capacity, of course, for physical distancing. And gyms, well, you might show up and not be able to go because there'll be too many people. Who knows? Because they're making these rules up as they go. This is a brand new way. Everything from before doesn't apply anymore. This is what's going on. The other thing is if we don't hit phase 3 by the beginning of summer, guess what? These businesses, these small restaurants, they can't afford this. And they're going to die. And honestly, I think that's part of the plan. I really do. Small business cannot survive this. They need to reopen and reopen now. Now we go to phase 4 again, to be announced. And that's 100% dependent on the transmission patterns. And depending on those experts who put us in this box to begin with, that's how they're going to decide. Now, of course, if you had a wedding this summer or a birthday party for the kids or any of that, that's all canceled because the 10 rule will stay in. At phase 4, they will decide if you can have up to 30 people. Yeah. Now, phase 5 is really just a review of the above that I've talked about. And the key point at that juncture at phase 5 is the consideration of lifting long-term restrictions. Now, this is all based on how we behave, right? Yeah. Here's the thing. With those states of emergencies, we have no freedom. They have taken our freedom and they are giving us crumbs to get out of jail and seeing how we behave. Because as people discover what's happening, and that getting a vaccination, see, this is designed to keep us in jail till the vaccination arrives. And I will not comply to a vaccination. What are they going to do about that? Are they going to inject me against my will? Is that what they're going to push us to? Because I can guarantee you there's a lot of people who will not do this. But they might push us out of this society. And this is what I'm getting prepared for. In fact, I'm getting myself organized to not be in a city anymore, because I won't do it. And I am being exiled in a free country. Literally exiled in order to live a free life. The other thing I really need you to look at is the social distancing, because in this entire plan, this social distancing is here to stay, because it is the new way. You must understand, everywhere in the world is living under these new rules that are all the same. The idea is to make us all one, to separate men and women, any displays of relationship, to get rid of our cultural norms. In fact, this is the greatest assault on our culture that we have ever seen. In fact, I don't think us Westerners ever thought it could be, but in fact it is. This is the socialist switch out. And it is designed to cull our old ways and get us set up for a tax structure that you won't believe. Because there's a reason Sweden didn't get the measures. There's a reason. Because they have already adopted the new economy that we are going to be getting. They pay 57% income tax. Personal tax. It's a whole lot different than us. But they are willing us into the nanny state, because the idea is to strip you of any hereditary wealth. They want to ensure that the kids coming up are all one. There's no division. And they want to destroy our cultures that make us who we are, to create their new culture of distance. I think they really want to do away with humanity in general. They don't want us to relate to one another. They don't want us to have love. They don't want us to have relationships. And honestly, they're actually succeeding, because, see, there'll be no guy in my realm that will get me in trouble in this public health nightmare. I won't have it. Well, I've been like that for a few years too. So it's nothing new. Once you get over the hump, it's all good. Not that I want to be, but at the end of the day, I can't risk somebody risking my health or me, or interjecting me in the system. I can't have it. No way. Who would have thought that this could happen in the West, where we're free? In any case, these are the things you need to look for in doing your own research, because I know once you do and you start looking, you will see what I see, because it's what has happened. In any case, please subscribe to my channel. We have a lot going on, but right now, this was important for everybody, because this is the blueprint of how it's going to roll, and the crumbs they're going to start doling out to us. So we'll follow it to get any bit of our freedom back. This is the culture that is all about social credits. Socialism. ultimate control, centralized power, because we're actually living in it right now. This is why we live in a land we don't recognize. Take a look and tell me what you think, because everything we need to know is right before our very eyes.